What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Jack Ramsays pregame show. I'm your host, Danny Murray, joined as always by Brandon Sprague. The Portland Trailblazers are getting ready to take on the Denver Nuggets for the second time. We don't acknowledge the first game because it is the game that shall not be named.
Oh, we don't acknowledge the fact that this team got its ass kicked by 30 points?
Oh, right. They got absolutely run out of the building in Denver by a shorthanded Nuggets team that didn't have Jamal Murray, Will Barton. I can't even remember. Porter Jr. was out that game. They were missing a lot. And the first comment in here from Logan, let's get that W tonight. Did you see we're favored by 10? I did not see the line get up that high. I saw it at 6. Has it really been bet up that high?
I saw it 6.5, I would say about 45 minutes ago.
It is now at 4.
Okay, so just for Logan's point of view, if it was at 10 and then you and I saw it at 6 and now it's 4, that tells me Jokic is playing.
100%.
Going back to that, for people maybe who don't follow every team in the NBA or watch basketball on a nightly basis, it's kind of just Blazer oriented. If I would have told you as soon as that game was done in the post game that these two, when they meet up 5 games later, we're going to have the same record and Denver was going to have lost 4 in a row and Portland would have won 3 in a row, would you have believed me?
No, based on the schedule. Not with Chicago and Toronto. But we didn't get the versions of those teams I think I expected just by looking at them on paper. You had both teams that were on long road trips shorthanded. So
we got half of them. We got the first half from Toronto and a big first half from Chicago.
So I think if you look at that, and this isn't to downplay what Portland has done, they've done a pretty meh job of handling teams that have been shorthanded when really Portland has had unbelievable health to start the season. You've had Damian Lillard voluntarily sit out a game. You had Norman Powell have a little 2-game tweak. Other than that, man, you have been healthy through, 17 games now?
I think this was around the point when CJ and Nurk started going down.
12 and 13 last year.
Yeah.
Game 12 and game 13. But yeah, the Blazers have done meh against teams that have been shorthanded. They took care of business the second time against Philadelphia, but even that got a little bit dicey, really shorthanded. Going down into Phoenix with no DeAndre Ayton, you're like, oh, what's going to happen here? You just look at everything. The Cavs are missing guys. It's just the Blazers have done a subpar job with teams missing guys, and the Nuggets are still missing a ton. For sure, there will be no Jamal Murray. There will be no Michael Porter Jr. Those two guys are for sure out. Let me take a look and see if there's any additional updates recently. I don't think I saw anything. I saw Zeke Naji has been upgraded to questionable earlier this morning. Oh, Bones Hyland, I believe, is supposed to be out as well.
Oh, is he out?
Yeah, so that's another guy off their bench. They're going to have Will. Barton's back, and he's been playing up and down, looking decently well. But obviously the big thing we're going to talk about here, Nikola Jokic, obviously was playing unbelievably, got suspended for a game, picked up a little bit of a wrist knock, sat out a game, came back. It looked like he was going through warm-ups, was going to be a go. I would assume, again, the point swing going this high. Somebody called somebody in Vegas and let them know, hey, Joker's getting ready to go, folks. So
I think a trainer of some sort probably texts somebody who texts another person. It's probably 4 or 5 people deep, so there's no tracing back to an individual. But there's for sure that kind of message being relayed.
Sure, and you look at it. Joker was going through warm-ups a little while ago, and he did not have the brace on. So that is what it is. And obviously the Blazers taking on the Nuggets. It's a national TV game. Damian Lillard fresh off of his Player of the Week. Did that surprise you, Sprague?
Yeah, it did surprise me a little bit. Like, I knew he was playing better, but I guess I hadn't seen.
It's his numbers from last season.
Yeah,
it was 28 and 8. It was like, so he had an average week from
right. Well, for him, it was a fantastic week, and it was one that they needed really bad. I was a little surprised though, just because I guess I had not seen everybody's numbers, and I saw
Steph cooled down. Otherwise,
okay, that makes sense. 28 and
8. Damian Lillard back on track, at least that's what it looks like. If you look at him over the last 5 games, not a bad little line. It looks a lot like Damian Lillard. 26 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds. Little subpar on the field goal percentage, 42%, but 41% from 3 on volume, almost 10 a game. 7 free throw attempts. That's the big key, right? 7 is a big number. comparatively to the NBA this year, but also right on par with where he has been recently, shooting 96%. Ant KB says, Jay Allen tweeted that Jokic decision is closer to tip-off. Well, they can only go so far with it. They legally have to have it when they submit the lineup cards, which it's a 7 o'clock tip, which I thought was kind of weird for a national TV game.
They've been doing those on Tuesdays, though, since the NBA basically punted and said, we stand no chance. The NFL is going to slaughter us. Let's save the embarrassment.
And cut it earlier.
They moved it to Tuesday, and when they've moved them to Tuesday, they've had 7 p.m. tips, not 7:30.
God, it's a wonderful thing because it's already going to run long. We know how that's going to go.
Right.
So tips
He's playing, by the way.
Yeah, tips should be 7:12, I think, for a national game. That always sounds about right. I think that's where they go, is 12 minutes after. I believe the lineup card has to be in then by 45, I think, for a 7 o'clock game. I could be wrong, but I think it's 15 minutes before tip. But yeah, we should get it going as far as, or we should know pretty quickly. And if I had to bet, and I did, I'm going to take Jokic playing tonight. We've seen a lot from this Denver team, or this Denver matchup over the years. It's kind of disappointing, I think, if you look at their matchups so far, and if you include last year's playoffs and then this year, the Blazers have fallen behind the 8 ball, to say the least of this matchup, where a couple years ago, they were the ones on top. When you look at this, is this a rivalry, or is this a situation where Denver has just passed Portland up and Portland's still kind of clawing and hanging on?
Look, that's tough, man. I know they've had the 2 playoff matchups recently last year, but I don't know about rivalry. I feel like Denver's in the West Finals 2 years ago. They lose to Portland, 2 seasons ago, not years, because we've had 3 seasons in 1 year. But Denver's in the West Finals. Before that, they go to a Game 7. They're a very young, inexperienced team at home in a Game 7, and CJ has the game of his life. So you're that close. And then last year, really, it wasn't that close at all. They got rid of the Blazers in 6, despite Damian Lillard having probably the greatest playoff game statistically of all time. It's hard to say it's a rivalry. What I'll say is a light rivalry. I think the fans here, and I think some of the Nuggets fans that exist, because there are like 15 of them, I think they would tell you that when they play Portland, there's a little something to that, because you have the 2 playoff series. You've got the Jokic, the Nurkic thing. You've got, is Dame going to cook? I know Jamal's been missing, and now Porter's out, unfortunately, with that back injury.
And that may be long term.
I don't feel the way about Denver I feel about other teams.
Sure.
But I think if you were to just look from the playing perspective, sure, a rivalry in that sense, yes. But Denver has pulled ahead of where Portland was when they played each other that first time in the playoffs.
You take a look at Denver over the last 5 games, and the first thing you notice is, wow, there's almost nobody here really in the top of the rotation that's played in all 5 games, because they've had obviously Jokic has been out for a couple games. Will Barton has missed a couple games. Zeke Naji has only played 1 game. Bones Hyland is going to miss tonight's game. So you look at their top 5 guys, and you're going, wow, you're already down a couple guys because you don't have Murray, you don't have Porter Jr., so you're basically down 2 of your top 5, and you start looking, and you're like, Will's missed a couple, Jokic has missed a couple. So basically their top 4 offensive options have been crippled the last 5 games when you have some short and some long-term injuries. That has opened up the door for some other guys. Aaron Gordon has been fantastic for them this year. I've heard a lot of people around the league talk about him as being a all-defensive team member. He is getting a lot of pub quietly behind the scenes for what he's been able to do as far as a big-bodied wing who I think he took on the challenge. I think it was easier said than done, but I think he's really shown out this year, and the big thing about that is he got paid. He got paid, and so he can show up.
He looks like a guy that gives a damn, and he looks like a guy that's more comfortable. I think when they made that trade, because he was one of those guys.
It was a little wonky.
Right, it was a little wonky, but I kind of expected it to be a little wonky. I thought the immediate reaction of, oh God, what an awful trade. It was a bit harsh, a bit quick.
I love the move, so
I liked the move a lot. Remember, it was him or Norm were like the 2 biggest rumors connected to Portland. We didn't know where Neil was going to go with that. And obviously he chose the 6'3" guy to play with the 6'3" guys. But, I think Aaron just looks like a lot more comfortable. And it's really unfortunate too, because I've caught quite a few of their games. it's unfortunate that the national narrative, when you talk about the NBA from, the ESPN's perspective, it's largely the Warriors are amazing. KD's butt hurt. The Lakers suck. I mean, that's kind of what the conversation is every single time. And then once in a while you sprinkle in the Knicks. We care about the Knicks. We need the Knicks to be good. The Miami Heat exists. But like outside of those, you don't get a lot of big picture conversations. And I think Aaron Gordon's kind of one of those many examples you go to this year, Danny, where he's having a really good year. I think any team traded and got that role guy and signed him to that contract would be ecstatic. Denver, despite how banged up they are, I mean, that's one of their big saving graces this year is how good he's been for them.
Yeah, he's last 5 games, 16, 7, and 2.
Yeah.
Pretty good. And high efficiency, 51% from the field, 39% from 3. If Aaron Gordon is hitting threes on a decent clip, it's one of those things you're like, crap. Because he's so big, he's so strong, he's so athletic, and he does so many other little things that if you start getting him as a playmaker, you start getting him knocking down shots, you're a little bit worried. And what we're looking at when you're watching this Denver team tonight is Jokic is going to get his. And it's going to be interesting to see how Chauncey, after the first matchup, when guys really didn't show up, how they cover him. And one of the things that I'm looking at tonight, at least, when you're taking on a guy like Jokic, he's so different, so weird, and I mean that in a good way. The way I frame this on the bottom third is the Joker or his henchmen. How do you attack the Nuggets? Do you go for letting Jokic cook and playing Nurk with him straight up? Do you throw some different looks at him? Do you try to put the onus on the other guys, even though putting the onus on the other guys means you're not making it as hard as you possibly could for Jokic? It's this weird position to be in. I thought with Stotts last year in the playoffs, I thought they had a good game plan in the first couple games as far as, hey, play Jokic straight up, make all the other guys work really hard because Jokic is going to get his no matter how much we throw at him. If he struggles, it's going to be on him. It's not going to be, we don't have the person. Sending a double at Nikola Jokic with Damian Lillard or CJ McCollum doesn't matter. Sending 6'1" dudes at 7 foot dudes doesn't matter.
They're 6'3". They're not small.
But what you can do is you can make the other guys work. Now, they didn't, and I think that's where the plan fell apart. But if you're, I'm gonna call you instead of Chance, you're Sprague tonight. Coach Sprague. How are you going after Nikola Jokic?
Well, one, I'm with you on Terry. The one thing I'll say about that, and this isn't like this super defensive section where we need to talk about Terry, but to what you brought up, I remember talking about this when I watched this game with friends. Like, he's a beast. He's different. It's unfortunate that we fell in love with Porzingis so quick because he really is the unicorn of unicorns. He can shoot, he can pass, he can post, he rebounds. He's a hell of a leader. I did like the approach by Terry. What Terry didn't see coming and what nobody else saw coming was 10-day Austin Rivers outplaying $120 million CJ McCollum.
Whoops.
What nobody saw coming was, what is his name? Facundo
Campazzo.
Facundo Campazzo. Like, nobody saw that dude just torching them. And so, unfortunately, Terry's method might have been the right method, but unfortunately, the game plan didn't work because of said examples there. Look, if I'm going into this thing tonight, and I know he's missed the last few games, I'm taking the same approach because the difference is you don't have Michael Porter Jr., right? You're not. I don't know how many games are you going to bank that you're going to get that performance from Austin Rivers. The one guy who could cook you, and it wouldn't shock anybody, is Aaron Gordon because of the way he's playing. But I'd still rather take my chances and say, Aaron Gordon, please go get 35 points tonight.
Take as many threes as you want, Aaron.
Shoot away.
Yeah.
Because we are not going to allow Nikola Jokic to sit here at the elbow, in the post, at the top of the paint, and play straight up one-on-one coverage with Nurk or Larry Nance. That's not going to work. And if it does, I'll be in the post game telling you I couldn't believe that worked. But if I was approaching this, I take the Terry philosophy, make everybody else beat me, and Jokic is going to get his. I can accept that.
I think that's the best way to go about it, particularly with right now, without a real pick and roll threat that's going to hurt you. With Hyland available, you kind of, even though he's a rookie, he's demonstrated some pick and roll magic. Even though his shooting percentage is down, it's something else you have to account for. Without a real lead guard, It's not really quite the issue. Now, Barton can get you some. I think he's great as a secondary playmaker. He can initiate with the second unit, that kind of thing. That's fine. That's fine and dandy. But the difference between him or another shot-creating guard or, heaven forbid, Jamal Murray, that's a significantly different level of offense that you have to worry about. Because if all of a sudden that you've got Murray and Jokic playing off each other, that's terrifying. Let's flip it over to the other side for the Portland Trail Blazers here. They're playing better, but I think a lot of the same issues are there. But this is the thing we talked about early on when they picked up a couple wins when their defense just didn't look good. And that is shot making covers up for a lot of sins.
Yeah.
And if you look at what the Trailblazers have done, let me pull the cleaning the glass shout out again. We'll always shout out Ben Falk here. The cleaning the glass factors when you take a look around the league. Let's pull up that summary data. Come on. All right, so if you're looking at top point differential teams in the NBA, the Trailblazers are actually doing pretty well. They're a plus 2.1 overall, right? So it's not bad. That's not awful by any means. It's a nice little spot. So it's what, 2, 4. They're 12th in the league. 12th in the league. And they're Pythagorean and expected wins. They're actually just a little bit under. So they're expected to have won 10 games. Now, here's the thing. Because of the limited sample size, you'll hear me talk about this nerdy stuff all the time. The Blazers are in this funky spot where they've had really bad wins or really bad losses and really good wins. So the stuff in between where you're typically going to land, it's a little weird. So you start looking at it, well, like Portland's offense, 4th best offense in the league by offensive rating on cleaning the glass. Hell yeah, you take that. And then you start going through and you're like, defense. Oh, 27th.
Hey, we're two
improvement.
Better than last
It's
year.
not 29th.
Yes, it's 2 better than last year.
So, not great, Bob. Not great.
So we got a little worse offensively. We got a little better defensively. Okay.
Yeah, it's not the best thing. It's not the worst thing.
No.
But here's the thing. You look at it over the last 2 weeks, their offense has been better. Their defense has been worse. So all of this talk about Portland is playing better. Sure, the end result is that they're getting some wins. It's just that their offense is bleeping supercharged.
Well, okay, but let me push back. But let me just say this, though, what you're bringing up. Are you really expecting the defense to get all that much better than what they are?
No, hell no.
Okay.
I just want the reality of what's actually happening to be kind of, hey, guys, they are playing better. But it's Damian Lillard is playing better.
Right. Yeah, Dame is getting back to what Dame was. And
weird. Damian Lillard, Western Conference Player of the Week, Blazers winning. So
all NBA Damian Lillard, the Blazers having some success. It's crazy how that works out.
And here's the thing. Dame is being Dame again, and these games haven't been blowouts. Everyone's like, well, if Dame just starts hitting his shots, no, that's not how reality works. Dame hitting his shots means you can set your defense a little more frequently.
Danny, I still can't believe they won that Chicago game. I mean, it's been, 3-4 days? I still can't believe it.
Honestly, I'm surprised they held on against Philly.
That one, I know that score doesn't indicate it, but if you watched it, that one got a little
it got dicey.
Ooh, okay.
And it shouldn't get dicey. And that's my biggest gripe, my biggest issue with this team in general is because when you're an offensive-minded team, if your offense goes away, you have to scramble hard. If you're a defensive-first team, or even defensive-focused 4th kind of team, you can win some games on the back of your defense. This is not a team that wins games or even really wins quarters on the backs of their defense yet. And that's against an opponent like Denver tonight who is so shorthanded. You need to win a quarter or two on the back of your defense and have your offense coming because you're going up against the MVP candidate.
But let me also say this, though, what you're talking about. What did you just say? You said they've eked out these games, right? They've really struggled against teams when they're missing players.
What you need to do. You can win some
But I don't know why
you're
surprised. We kind of knew that this team was going to be this, right? They were going to be very up and very down, and there's going to be some games that maybe they win, make you go, whoa, and they're going to lose a game and make you go, what? Like, that's who they've been for 2 years now.
2?
So, you know,
5.
where their win-loss is and what we do statistically, like this stuff doesn't surprise me anymore. It's largely what we've seen. It's what the sample size tells us.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things where I kind of know what to expect from this team, and even if they get a little bit better defensively, they're still, kind of ramming up against that
Still
ceiling.
against it.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's so. But do I want them to play better? Yes. Do I expect them to play better? Yes. I did not pick
see,
them.
I don't. I don't. I want them to be better. I don't expect.
I do.
much better than what
They
they've
haven't
been.
put on a good performance really this year.
You wouldn't say the Memphis game was a good performance?
Memphis third game in 4 nights.
Well, I mean, look, we can take that stuff into account, but if we're just talking about like the team,
I guess they handle business.
Yeah.
I want this team to look like
the Clipper game at home,
that's probably the best
That was a
example. That's
that
probably
was
the
a
best
really
example.
good game.
Yeah. But again, I would like to see them not every game. You're not going to play a perfect game. You get maybe one of those a
No.
season if you're a really good game. But what I want to see is not the variance that hard peaks and valleys. Level me out just a little bit. Give me a game of like, hey, oh, a little bit, oh, a little bit. Just give me that. And I think that's the biggest thing is that the consistent effort. And,
Yeah.
and as much as I've heard, oh, there's more effort now. And I'm like, well, the tape kind of says otherwise.
I don't know how do you quantify that?
I mean, you can see it pretty easily when you give up on a possession.
No, see, I think that, well, that's true. What I would say, though, on the effort thing is I think the difference when you say you see the effort difference, you know where I see the effort difference is from the new guys and the guys getting minutes in the rotation that weren't either getting minutes last year or weren't on
because of the
team
stark
last
contrast of the guys who are either in front of them now or were in front of
yeah.
them last year.
Right, because Dame and CJ are what they are on defense. We know that, right? That hasn't changed. CJ's gotten better steal numbers, but when Larry Nance is out there running around, when Nasir Little is crashing the glass and running out on people like that, all of that stuff makes the collective look better than what it is. So like that whole, they care more, there's better effort. I mean, no, not to me. I just think that some of the pieces that they've added are different than Melo and Cantor running around.
This is a question in here from John Reed. When was the last time we had a 10 to 12 game home win streak? Been since Aldridge, I bet.
That's interesting.
They had a 9 or a 10 gamer in 2019.
Give me a second. Let's see if I can dig this up real quick.
I know for sure it got to in 2019 got to 8, but I think it got to 9 or 10 because I was looking at this the other day and I was like,
what year? 2019.
2019. Yeah.
Okay.
So I love the whole idea. Somebody sent in something the other day when they won the game the other night. 8-game home winning streak. Suck it, Terry. And I was like, they did it 2 years ago, guys. Like, what are we doing?
The animosity can I just say this? We could disagree on some fundamentals of X's and O's or strategy. The animosity towards honestly one of the nicer people in the industry, it's mind-blowing to me. Especially it comes from people who never have interacted with it. It's like, suck it, Terry. It's like, have you met Terry?
It's a weird thing. And it's like, I saw somebody say that Chauncey's really holding Yusuf Nurkic accountable. Terry would never yank him out of a game. And I'm like, you realize Yusuf Nurkic got up on the podium and one of the things he complained about was Terry yanking him out of games, right? Like, hand to God, guys. I mean, there's plenty of things to criticize with Terry Stotts. You don't have to make things up. So
okay, I'm not. Hold on, I'm not to it yet. I'm not seeing
2018-19.
Oh, 18-19. I'm sorry.
It's in the 19 calendar year.
I'm in the 19-20. Don't you hate that about sports is when it's like
the split calendar year? Yeah.
Yeah, like the 49ers won the Super Bowl in 1995, but that's the 94 season.
Yeah, 94.
You know what I mean?
Season.
It's like when that stuff happens.
Yep, NBA and NFL both. Actually, NHL falls under that too. So actually, MLB is the only one that doesn't, huh? Whatever.
No, MLB is 1 year. Yeah, it's the same year.
Very, very dumb. As you're getting that ready, I'm going to get our Love It, Like It, Leave It ready for tonight. I will give you my first Love It. I'm going to take it over and over and over again until he gets back on track. Anthony Simons. Facu Campazzo is not a guy I worry about stopping. Anthony Simons. Nobody on the Nuggets do I worry about stopping Anthony Simons. So my Love It tonight, and for Ant, he's got, like I said, I talked to him the other night. He said his it's a little awkward playing with the splint, but it's feeling better. So we'll see how it goes. He's just kind of trying to pick his spots a little bit better. I think that's where it's got to be. So I expect Dame to kind of look like Dame. I think he's kind of rounding into form. He's looked more explosive. So let's see the guy behind him be explosive again and blow up in a quarter and carry them to a sweet, sweet victory tonight. What do you got?
I confirmed, yes, indeed. Their win streak at home was snapped by Miami in February. They ended up winning like the next 3, and then they lost 2 more.
How many in a row did they win?
It was 8.
It was 8. Okay.
It was 8.
So there was that one Miami game in between. So they went 11-1 in 12 games.
Yeah, it was an insane run.
Yeah, I remember that just going nuts.
My love is going to be Dame. Keep riding the wave. You know, he put in some work. He got shots up at the Moda Center yesterday.
I love that he's an absolute lunatic.
I do too. It's great. And honestly, you know why? I think the people that love it are people that would probably be lunatics if they were ever given that life.
Yeah.
Right? Like the person that says it's 11:30 at night. I can't sleep. I'm gonna go get some shots up.
The guy that watches film at 2:00 in the morning after he does a pre and a post game show.
The guy who is watching NBA League Pass while he's sleeping with his wife.
What?
Oh, you? I was talking about. No, I wasn't talking about. No, but I'm going to go with Dame. He came off getting the Western Conference Player of the Week award. He's starting to kind of look more Dame-ish. And this is a game and a team, given how depleted they are. This is a good opportunity for you to carry that over. They've been playing extremely well at home. They're a different team at home.
It's disgusting how different they are home and road. Their home and road
you're
splits
talking about like
insane.
A top 4 team in the West at home. You're talking about a bottom 5.
I need to
road?
pull this up. It's actually kind of gross.
It's really disgusting. I saw numbers like 2 games ago, and I was like, oh, God. But I'm going to go Dame. I think Dame can have a big night tonight because of the lack of depth that the Nuggets will have.
What is your like it for tonight?
My like it is actually going to be another guy riding a hot hand. It's going to be Nasir Little.
That a boy.
Statistically, not maybe jumping off the page, but he's bringing a lot to this team that doesn't always register a stat. And I think that's going to be important. This is not a team that should be taken lightly. And I don't think that they will because Jokic is going to play. But this is also a team that has played like absolute dog-ass. I mean, go look at that Sunday game against Phoenix. I turned that thing off.
They had that. Yeah, no, that was a click. Turn that off.
Bloodbath. So, you're probably going to get a much different team, right? You just ride the waves of analytics, and it's going to say they're not going to shoot that bad again. So
everybody has a game, probably 3 or 4 games like that a season where they just can't throw anything in the water.
Couldn't connect. They're on the midst of a losing streak. Like, this is a team they know they can beat even when they're shorthanded. Nas is going to be big for them with his length, his athleticism, and just kind of the energy that he brings. That's my like it tonight.
All right. Well, my like it is the home court. And here's why. At home, they have an offensive rating, Mr. Sprigg, of 116.2.
Jesus.
That would be top in the league.
Yes.
Defensive rating of 105.4. That would be like 12th in the league. Pretty damn good. That would give you a net rating of damn near 11, 10.9. That would put you in like the top 5.
Yeah.
Good spot to be. And here's the difference for anybody wondering. Offensive rating on the road, 104.7. Defensive rating, 116.2. Their exact same offensive rating on the road is their defensive rating. Offensive rating at home is their defensive rating on the road.
Well, and their defensive rating at home is their offensive rating on the road.
Yes. Well, it's close. 105.4, 104.7. They're actually
right there.
Their offense is actually worse than their defensive rating at home. So it's not quite. So you're talking about over 20-point net rating swing between home and road.
That is Dr. Jekyll.
It is one of the most staggering home road splits I've ever seen. It's insane how wildly different they are.
Yeah.
And when you start going up and down, the big indicators right away are effective field goal percentage at home 56%, on the road 51%. That's a pretty sizable number. Their pace, they play a little bit slower at home. It should be a little bit faster at home. They turn the ball over a little bit more on the road, and they rebound better at home. Those are things they look at and you go, oh, that looks like energy. That's what that looks like to me.
It's also give the crowd like
yes,
the
that's what I mean.
crowd that's going is pretty
good. The
good.
bump of the energy, right?
Yeah.
They're shooting about the same amount of shots, almost identical. 88 at home, 88.1 on the road. 3-point attempts, they're taking 2 more at home, but the percentage is wildly different, 40% versus 31%. They're getting to the line 4 more times at home. They're rebounding better at home. Their assist rate is almost the same. Their steals are about the same. Their blocks are a little bit higher at home. But the big thing is getting to the free throw line, taking and making threes, and then taking care of the ball. And those sound mostly like energy issues for the most part, which when you take a look at this team, again, this is a long like it, and one of the biggest things behind this is they're one of the worst first quarter teams in the entire league.
Slow starters, no doubt.
So that's my long, drawn out like it for tonight. What is your leave it tonight?
Anthony Simons, leave your last few games in the past, brother. It's time to move forward.
I was gonna say, do I have to come get you? Like,
Jesus, it's that level, huh? It's like, sit him on the bench. I'm gonna murder you. I don't know. Maybe there's actual basketball player stock, and I've never known about it. It's like a secret crypto, and you've got Simon stock, and you won't tell anybody. It's the new Dogecoin. Leave the struggle bus behind, man. Like, he hasn't played all that well. He's done some things, but like just actually giving the team what he was giving them, he's gone on a bit of a cold streak, and that's okay. We talked about that while he was hot and playing well, that it was going to come. Well, it's here. It's here early, and leave that in the past, because the Blazers are going to need that depth. They're going to need his efficiency out there, and we just know what he provides on offense. He already draws attention to people.
Yeah.
If he hits shots, he's going to draw a little more, and we know how much that's going to open things up for them. So Anthony Simons, leave the bad play. Come out there with your usual confidence and leave that stuff in the past.
I'm going to go leave the first quarter Blues at home. I kind of teased it there a little bit. Come out with some energy. Come out and actually give a damn. Don't rely on the bench or the crowd. Bring it your damn self. That's what it is for me. And a lot of, I think, what this team lacks is juice. And it's such a weird thing, because you typically assume Damian Lillard, because he's the king of the fourth kind of a deal. But one thing he's always been this until the fourth quarter.
He's a slow build, man. He's always been a slow build.
And he's not a trash talker. He's not a, like, get up, clap in your face, kind of guy. He's just never been that dude. And so there's nobody else really on this team, save maybe now Nas, where in the past it was Nurk. Nurk would be their bellwether guy. And you could see it. Norm, steady. CJ may talk a little ish. Nurk, I think, is in his own head. Cove, I mean, he's a robot.
I think Norm is the one in the lineup, though, that if there's somebody that's going to give him something.
Yes.
Because when he hits a shot, he almost always, by the way, nets it. And there's like, he's got this kind of swag when he runs back to the defensive end of the court, like, let's go, guys, let's go.
You know what it reminds me of? It's this is going to get really nerdy. Whoa. Chris Haynes apparently, Cooper Ching says that.
Who?
Cooper.
Did you say Chris Haynes?
Chris Haynes says Denver Nuggets star Nikola Jokic is out tonight.
That's a win.
Okay.
They ain't beating point with this squad, dude. That team without Jokic is kind of trash.
Yeah.
So it's going to be the Gordon Barton night.
Interestingly enough, that the swing.
Boy, Vegas whiffed on that one, didn't they?
Man. If it went
I hope you got it at 4.
I took the over tonight because I got it at 212.
Ooh, that's going to be
dicey.
That's going to be real dicey. You're going to be texting me at like 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter going,
I don't know if we're going to get there.
Do it.
Don't know if we're going to get there.
Hey, they're going to win 4 in a row, though. And you still feeling that way about Sacramento with their Walton's gone game? That team sucks.
God dang, dude. I thought they.
I hope Terry doesn't take that job.
I don't think he will.
You know he's got the second best odds right now?
I don't think he will.
5-1. Terry's going to be the next coach.
I don't think he. Here's the thing.
I'd rather snowshoe and drink beer than coach the Sacramento.
That's
Kings.
like. I saw some people who are very anti-Terry. Like, Terry didn't even get another job. Folks, hate to tell you this, hate to break your hearts. If he wanted another job, he could have had one.
He was going to Indiana.
And then they went to Rick Carlisle, who, listen, no. Rick Carlisle was going to go to Milwaukee when they fired Bud, and Terry was going to go to Indiana. It was basically kind of the worst kept secret in the league. Well, and the Bucks won a title, and it was like, we're keeping Bud. So, and Terry wanted to go to Indiana because he has ties there, and he has an offense that kind of would feature Sabonis and do a lot of things that, they did in Dallas with Dirk. So
he would probably turn Sabonis into little LaMarcus. And I'll tell you this, nobody would look more perfect for their city than Terry Stotts in Indianapolis.
Oh God, no. He is Indianapolis.
He is. Yeah. Mr. Oklahoma would have been Mr. Indiana. Yeah. There is no doubt about that. I just, the anti-Terry thing is very weird.
Coach Sacramento. They need so much help that coaching is nowhere near touching.
Well, they need a new owner.
So
that dude's been way too hands-on.
He has, and I've talked to a lot of people that are very tight in Sacramento, and they've all said the same thing. Vivek is a fantastic owner with everything except for basketball, and that's because he's too hands-on.
It's the most important part.
But he takes care of his employees. The money is there. Money has never been an object.
Yeah.
Their
new arena's dope, I've heard.
And they got the new arena. Like, they've done everything else right. So, And actually, Tim Wilson brings up a very good point. Terry's getting paid right now. He had 2 years left on his deal. There's no reason.
Why do we hate Terry Stotts? I
because
don't get
it was a familiar scapegoat. You don't have to yell at your heroes that way. That was always the issue.
I think that's weird, man. Like, thank you, Terry Stotts, for 9 great years. Like, wish him the best and move on. Man.
Listen, I had no issue with them moving on. Like, I got painted as the pro Terry Stotts guy, and it was kind of hilarious. Like, I was like, I just don't think that's going to change much. And we're almost 20 games in, and nothing has changed.
He's also not the worst coach. Like, come on.
It is what it is.
I know. I like Terry. I don't know Terry personally. I interviewed him 2 or 3 times.
Sure.
Like, but I know people who, like, he was a really nice guy. And man, they had some good success while he was here.
Listen, you can not like him. You can love him. I don't care. I think it's just a little bit weird when you lay all the blame for this team at the foot of a coach who was okay.
That's a very odd thing to me, instead of just addressing, the obvious roster flaws.
But it is what it is. I'm actually kind of bummed right now because now this game is going to suck.
Yeah, they're gonna win this game by 15 points. You know what's gonna happen is they're gonna be down 10-4. Chance will call a timeout. They'll blow them out.
What the?
They're gonna win this game, dude.
Okay, so we can already kind of prep the halftime or the post game show.
Yeah,
they look stupid. They didn't handle business, and then they came out and they took care of what they needed to. But same old story, same old story. Tell me I'm wrong.
I think tonight you're gonna be wrong.
You think they're gonna come out and just handle it?
I do.
Okay. Are they gonna handle it, or is Denver just gonna not hit a damn shot?
Yes. Well, here's the thing, though. You kind of, sometimes what you're good at is you like to play both sides of that coin. So it's like, if Portland shoots really well, you're gonna have something in the back pocket that's gonna go, Denver's 4th road game in 6 nights. They're extremely tired. You're gonna take away what Portland did really well. You're gonna be downer Danny. I think they're going to shoot well. If you told me Denver doesn't, I'm not going to be surprised.
Yeah, I probably will if they don't handle business. Because without Jokic, they are quite literally missing their top 3 options. This is like if you took Dame, CJ, and Nurk off the team.
That'd actually kind of be fun to watch, because it'd be the Ant, Norm, Nas show with Larry Nance just right in the middle of that sandwich. I bet you that team could beat more teams than you think.
It could. I mean, we saw basically a lesser version of it with the Kings game 2 years ago with Ant going no.
When Ant single-handedly
when
got
Ant
him
hit
the
a 37, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, it would be fun. I just don't want to see them take this light, because this is a team that, granted, Jokic is a different beast.
I don't think they will, man. I could be wrong on this. We'll see in the post.
They haven't taken a game light, though. That's the thing. This would be the first game that they hadn't taken light. If they do it.
Yeah, I don't know. How many would you say they've been taking them light, or would you just say they're naturally a slow starting, frustrating up and down team? I think that's what we kind of need to address, right? Because there's a difference there.
I think there's a mentality thing. I think there's a mindset team, and I think that particularly among Dame, CJ, and Nurk, guys that have been here for a long time.
So Dame, go set the tempo. CJ, go set the tempo, the tone.
And what we saw the other night was Dame and CJ go out and go absolutely bonkers in the first half. And that was the closest thing we got. But I think that was such a weird contrast that guys kind of looked around like, okay, well, now what? And then CJ went scoreless in the second half. You know, CJ has had 2 scoreless halves in the past 4 games.
It's a little problematic.
Kind of an issue.
It's almost as if Mr. Investigation wasn't an investigation. He could be working some phones right now and say, hey, this team's maybe not that bad.
Well, you know, it's a good team. Just not great. All right, let's get out of here. Thank you all so very much. I didn't do the plugs to start the show, so here. Like, rate, review, subscribe. Find the podcast wherever you need. We just crossed a massive milestone, and we continue to crush stuff on the podcast side. On YouTube, obviously, we just passed 2,000 subscribers. Thank you all so very much. We really appreciate you. I've got a bunch of stuff dropping here on the holiday weekend. I'm working on something on Nasir Little about his overall rebounding ability and something that I noticed inside his rebounding and what maybe, a little relationship between Chauncey and Nasir and how they're encouraging going about that rebounding and how it manifests in the game and on the tape. Like, rate, review, subscribe. Subscribe here to the podcast. Help us grow. Help us do some things. And like I said, hopefully by Monday, I should have the information on the live show watch parties. I was struggling for the words there. I was like, but I think that'll be something that's really cool that you guys are really going to enjoy. And I'll roll out the memberships in the beginning of December. Until the postgame show, take care. Talk soon. And we'll catch you then. Bye.